find somewhere for the city. I want to thank you. I need to hear the sound needs to be cut off. That music. I want to thank all of you for coming out. I want to thank all administrators, all who have made it possible for you as young people to be here to celebrate Black History Month. You need to be very cognizant of the fact that you hold the record for the largest public school Black history program in 17 years. Right here in the Pike Township area. We thank God for that. Thank Steward Speaker Series, especially for the protection of Ms. Darlene Sedgwick and her staff. I will get out of the way so we can have some fun and enjoy ourselves. Mr. Keith Shannon is coming now with our moment of welcome. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning. My name is Keith Shannon, and on behalf of Olivet Missionary Baptist Church, I would like to welcome you to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection 2024 National Black History Program in association with Steward Speakers Incorporated and Olivet Missionary Baptist Church. As we celebrate Black History today, you will have the privilege to enjoy this dynamic Tri-City Gospel Choir and be amongst peers and local city leaders. But best of all, you'll hear a very dynamic conversation with our guest speaker, Shannon Sharpe. Events like this serve as a charge for communities across the nation to invest in our children's future by first investing in them by sharing our own personal experiences of failures and triumphs. To prepare our future generation for tomorrow, we must embrace, nurture, and challenge today's youth. We must also hold them accountable for the choices they make today, which will surely impact their future. To each young person listening to me, you should thank your teacher who made it possible for you to attend this program today. A program designed to inspire you, to invest in you. We are excited to hear Shannon Sharpe, who I am sure will leave an imprint of inspiration with us here today. Please know, at Olivet, your presence truly makes a difference. Enjoy your experience at Olivet today. And again, you are welcome.
Shall we stand to our feet now for the presentation of colors by the Pike High School Color Guard, along with the Tri-City Choir. remain standing as the colors lead us forward.
Right, hey, go,
Let's give this color guard a hand. You may be seated. I would like everybody briefly, just for one moment, to look to my right. There is a badge that represents Black History Month for all of our minority officers who work for IMPD. They did not get to wear that badge this month, but we wanted to let the community know that even our officers, they have them, are representing us as Afro-Americans in the city of Indianapolis. Vision, Mr. Matt Steward, President of Steward Speaker, on his way.
Good morning. Oh, I said good morning. My name is Kimberly Bostic, and I am the board chair and managing director for Steward Speakers. And this morning, Black History Month means to me all of you, the beautiful faces that I see here today. Indianapolis, we are proud to be is this the longest Black History Month event that we have had and the largest that we have every year? Give yourselves a round of applause. A special thank you to U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Olivet, but a special thank you to you, to all of the teachers, all of the counselors, all of the adults that help to ensure that you are here each year. For Steward Speakers, we are committed to making sure that we inspire, invoke meaningful dialogue, inspire you as youth, and make sure that you have an opportunity to see leaders that look like you, that come from places like where you've come from, so that you too can dream big and make sure that you reach the dreams that you have educationally and through your careers. We are proud to be in our 37th year of bringing nationally known and internationally renowned speakers right here to you. I hope that you feel honored. I am blessed to be in this space, and this is the best part of the season each year when we get to engage with you. Thank you so much for all you do. God bless.
What's going on? This is not on program. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I am Officer Simone Burrs. I'm the Public Information Officer with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. I am also the Vice President of the Minority Police Officers Association. We are glad to stand before you today in honor of Black History Month to show you that we have received our Black History Month badges. This is a phenomenal moment because nowhere else in our country is there another police agency that was able to do a Black History badge. So this is the first for our country that we have been made aware of. So this is a great moment for all of us and all of you.
And good morning. Like Kimberly said, what a blessing to be here. This is such a beautiful moment. And I have attended several of these occasions, and this overflow here is just phenomenal. I am Commander Ida Williams with the Community Engagement and Outreach Bureau. And when we talk about these badges, I've been on this agency, with this agency for 34 years, and I have never been more proud than I was today to put this uniform on with this Black History badge to represent the Black officers and their contributions and achievements to this community. And we're looking for men and women that will want to wear this uniform, and also men and women that look like this space. Yeah, this space. We also have a cadet program that was developed for our young people between the ages of 12 and 18 that are interested in serving in law enforcement. We have a booth and the table set up out in the lobby, and we ask our young people in this space here today, please stop by on your way out and get information and learn about IMPD and our cadet program. Thank you very much.
We're now ready to have greetings from Ms. Edna King, Executive Director of Financial Operations. Let's receive her with a round of applause.
Okay, get situated. All right, well, good morning. A little bit better. Thank you. Well, again, I want to thank you for taking time today to join and be part of this year's Black History Month program. I bring you greetings on behalf of Acting Commissioner Mr. Troy Miller, who was unable to join us today. I am delighted to be here this morning with our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Shannon Sharpe, my colleagues from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and with each of you students. It is so thrilling to see so many here today. To Steward Speakers Incorporated, U.S. Customs and Border Protection is privileged to serve as a sponsor in presenting so many dynamic speakers to the youth of Indianapolis. Thank you. And thanks to the Tri-City High School Gospel Choir and Pike High School's Color Guard for your participation in today's program. And lastly, a special thanks to Pastor Moore and the Olivet Church family for opening your doors and sharing with the Indianapolis community this wonderful opportunity to hear from today's special guest. So today we celebrate and honor the tremendous contributions of Black Americans to our nation's history. We also celebrate the progress, triumphs, and successes of the Black community while honoring the struggles, pain, and suffering also endured. We recognize that Black history is American history and that Black culture, stories, and triumphs are at the core of who we are as a nation. African Americans in CBP have critical roles in shaping our nation's future by aiding international development, protecting the environment, regulating trade and commerce, and safeguarding our nation's borders. Our priority mission, however, is homeland security. That means preventing terrorists and terrorist weapons from getting into the United States. Yet, we must perform this mission without shutting down the legitimate flow of trade and travel, without shutting down our economy and our sense of openness as a country. So in closing my remarks, U.S. Customs and Border Protection is constantly seeking well-educated individuals to protect our nation's borders. So if you're considering a job in federal government, please consider working for the brave men and women of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Department of Homeland Security. In the absence of Congressman Carson of the 7th District of Indiana, I will be reading his salutations. I am honored to extend my warmest greetings to you at the annual National Black History Month celebration hosted by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in partnership with Olivet Missionary Baptist Church. What first began as only a week-long celebration in 1926 has now evolved and taken an integral place in the world as we continue to exalt the achievements, contributions, and exemplary members of the Black community. Black History Month is a time of celebration, but one of advocacy as well, as we follow the precedent of former leaders and continue to campaign for opportunities and resources for all of those in our Indianapolis, national, and global community. For history and progress are made by a unified people and not based on solitary efforts alone. I encourage you to keep the spirit of Black History Month present, in addition to your willingness to learn during these weeks of celebrating the rich heritage of the African American community. As Carter G. Woodson, the scholar that created this tradition, wished, let us continue to extend our studies of Black history. I would like to extend a congratulations to special guest speaker Shannon Sharpe, a three-time Super Bowl champion and inducted member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His legacy is a reminder and motivation to all those pursuing a goal to lead their actions with passion and discipline. I thank him for his example and his contributions to the Black community. On behalf of the 7th Congressional District of Indiana, I want to thank everyone in attendance, Shannon Sharpe, Steward Speakers Incorporated, and our host, U.S. Customs and Border Protection and Olivet Missionary Baptist Church. I wish everyone a joyous and meaningful Black History Month celebration. That now concludes Congressman Carson's remarks. So at this time, I'm pleased to introduce Indianapolis Mayor Hogsett. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have taught you for the last 17 years that when the mayor's in the house, out of respect for your voting privilege, please stand on your feet and receive the three-term mayor.
Well, good morning. Please be seated. Thank you for that welcome. It's my honor once again to be present, welcoming everyone to this annual Black History Month celebration. I too echo Congressman Carson's thanks to the Steward Associate Speaker Series, the U.S. Custom and Border Protection, to our great senior pastor, Wayne Moore, and Olivet Missionary Baptist Church. Let's give all of our sponsors a round of applause. As Congressman Carson said in his letter, it's through their partnership that our community and its young people can enjoy this event and its exceptional history of bringing renowned keynote speakers each and every year. Speaking of which, I too want to welcome everyone joining us from Indianapolis and those out of town, including today's keynote speaker, Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to be really brief because I know that I am preceding one of the highlights of the annual Black History Month celebration program here in Olivet, and that's the school roll call. So get ready to represent your school. Not yet. Not yet. You know, one of the most important and the most incredible moments for me personally at the last weekend's NBA All-Star Weekend, give it up for Indianapolis for being the host city. The NBA All-Star Weekend, one of the most incredible moments for me personally throughout that weekend was the reveal that our city will soon have a statue of Oscar Robertson over at Christmas Attucks High School. Long overdue. Long overdue. Now, many of our young people in the audience today may not recall the specificity and the importance of his history and the larger story of the 1955 Christmas Addicts Tigers boys basketball team. In a month where we take time to focus on the contributions and the experience of Black Americans, I think this revival of an important Indianapolis story is finally right on time. It shows, first and foremost, a group of young men working together with uncommon patience, uncommon dignity to achieve something unprecedented, the first all-Black state championship team in all of American history. Right here in Indianapolis. Throughout this month of February, we can focus on stories like that one to inspire us, to instruct us, to educate us, and to remind ourselves how important this celebration truly is. So, Pastor Moore, to Olivet, and to everyone joining in today's celebration, on behalf of the city of Indianapolis, I give you our thanks.
Come on, Shannon, let's get it going. Shannon, Sharpe, take it to the there we go. All right. Arsenal Technical High School. Where are you? Avon Academy. Ben Davis High School. Ben Davis University High School. Rebuff Jesuit Preparatory School. Cathedral High School. Charles Tinley Accelerated School. Clay Middle School. Guillaume Creek Middle School. Guyon Creek Middle School. Heron Riverside High School. Jonathan Jennings 109. Lincoln Middle School. New Augusta Academy. North Central High School. Clark Tudor. Pike High School. Providence Cristo Ray High School. Rudy School Indy. Trivial Indy Academy. Vision Academy. DePaul University. Wabash College. University of Indianapolis. Did we miss any school? Good job representing, guys. Thank you. I think we're ready for presentation. man. This is the first year where we're really recognizing some who have done outstanding work and who are doing outstanding work in our city. And we're going to take time to recognize them. We wish we had a moment to give them an opportunity to speak, but we're on a time situation and we got to do what we got to do because we might be a little bit behind, I think. Thank you, Mayor. Good to have you here today. First one.
The first one goes to Attorney Nathaniel Lee, Sr., in recognition of community advocacy and higher education in Indianapolis.
Nathaniel Lee, thank you.
Next one goes to Dr. Larry B. Young, Jr., Superintendent of Metropolitan School District and Council and Administrative School Series.
Board members, will you stand, and staff team, will you stand? Thank you.
The third one goes to Major Jerry W. Williams, the Assistant Chief of Staff of Logistics at Indiana State Police.
All the troopers can come down if you're here. You can take his with him. This is the #1 Afro-American major in the state of Indiana. Top trooper. Our top trooper is an Afro-American brother. Next.
Robin Winston, Principal and Co-Founder of Winston Terrell Group.
I need everybody to stand on your feet to applaud for Brother Robin Winston for the work he does in public education.
Our next award goes to Mr. Matthew Steward, President and Founder of Steward Speaker Series. Come on, can you show some love for Mr. Steward? Next award goes to Olivet's very own, Miss Darlene.
Courtney, will you come with Miss Darlene? Stand on your feet, Miss Darlene Shannon. These two have worked together for 17 years to make this possible.
I just want to acknowledge the men and women of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Thank you for all that you do in protecting our homeland.
Last but certainly not least, our last award.
Come on, young man, let's do this. Come on, grandson and Wabash and all you brothers, stand with me. Come on down here, brother. Yes, come on, brother Hop. Come on, Case. Where you at, Case? Come on, Case. Yeah. fellas out here. Don't they look good? Give them a hand. Come on now, look at them. These are college athletes, academic students. Amen. Go ahead, brother. Tell us who this is for.
This award goes to Mr. Shannon Sharpe.
Shannon, would you stay here just for a moment? Hold this. Hold that for me. All right, you. Shannon, I got these two young men right here. This young man, his name is Brother Hop. And every time I'm doing stuff in the school board, he has proven to be a respectful man, young man, and I wanted him to help us present this to you today. And this is Case, one of my members, got a heck of a jump shot. And he's going to be a great athlete. And I wanted you to present two of your autograph posters to these young kids. Miss Denise, we're ready for a musical selection. After which, the musical selection, Miss Sedgwick is going to come and introduce our speaker.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and I am so happy to be here today. So happy to see so many of you here supporting this Black History Month program. And we're excited to hear from our special guest, Mr. Shannon Sharpe. A couple of comments. Pastor Moore wanted me to acknowledge Dr. Charles Walker, who is here. If you'll just stand real quick. Thank you for joining us all the way from the ATL. I'd also like to acknowledge, and I believe that they are watching virtually, Wabash College. So we've got some live streaming happening back there, and they are partners of Steward speakers. And so we want to welcome you and acknowledge you. I have the pleasure of introducing our facilitator. I get up here year after year and I talk about CBP and our ability to protect the homeland and the diverse personnel that we need to hire in order to accomplish that mission. I also talk about us and our need to hire students who have matriculated through either their education or have a desire to go into law enforcement. And so we have many CBP employees with us here today. We have many who started their careers as students. And don't worry, I'm not going to call you out or ask you to stand up, okay? I see some of them covering their faces. That's a clue, right? But they started as students, just like many of you, some even in high school, as interns. But the young lady that I have the pleasure of introducing today, she too started as a student. She hails from Pike High School. She started working in my office at the age of 16 during the summer. She went on to college and she became a student intern. And she worked during the holidays and when she was out on summer breaks. After she graduated from college, she was converted to become a full-time federal employee. And so she worked in many facets of our organization, learning and growing and developing. 19 years later, did you hear me? 19 years later, she is now the assistant director for our reasonable accommodation program. And she administers reasonable accommodations for individuals with disabilities for U.S. Customs throughout the nation, and even in our pre-clearance offices abroad. Courtney Mack is responsible for providing expert guidance, technical advice on targeted recruitment of veterans with disabilities, individuals with disabilities, and reasonable accommodation of employees, and oversees the development of complex procedures and the implementation of reasonable accommodations. Ms. Mack has robust knowledge and experience within the human capital management portfolio to include employee relations, labor relations, staffing, organizational design, alternative solutions, employee benefits, and diversity and inclusion management. Ms. Mack holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Public Affairs with a concentration in Public Management from Indiana University, Indianapolis, and a Master's of Public Administration with a concentration of Public Administration from the Indiana Wesleyan University. Please help me welcome Ms. Courtney Mack.
How y'all doing? I know I'm not a football player, but after hearing my bio, I kind of feel good about myself. Okay, so we're gonna have a nice conversation with somebody I believe you all know who is in the room. So I'm not gonna read a bio line for line, but I'm just gonna name a couple of things that you may know him from. If you know him from this, I want you to make noise, okay? Because, you know, he's been a football player, he was an all-star, so he's not afraid of big crowds. So make some noise when I start to list how you know this individual. Club Shay Shay. First Take with Stephen A. Smith. 3-time Super Bowl champion. And I think this is my favorite. Pro Football Hall of Fame. Stand up on your feet and welcome Shannon Sharpe.
Thank you so much. That was an unbelievable introduction. First, I want to thank the Board of Homeland Security and Border Protection, Steward, Speakers Inc. I do realize that you had your choice of celebs, entertainers, athletes, actors, past and present, and choosing me, I'm incredibly humbled and honored. I don't take situations like this for granted, and if I miss any sponsors, do not take it as a slight. Hopefully, you guys, you can continue to expand your role with this wonderful program, and it could become bigger and better than it's ever been before. So, but I thank you, everybody that's in attendance. Pastor, thank you for believing in me and inviting me in, and hopefully you get an opportunity to take something from my personal story.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So you were born in Chicago, Illinois.
I was.
Okay.
I was.
And at the age of 3, your sister and your brother moved to Georgia, right?
Born in Chicago. My grandmother came and got me. I was 3 months old on a train. She took me back. My dad came down and got me. I was 7 months old, and took me back to Chicago. My parents separated. I came to Georgia in 1970, and that was been my home. So I was with my grandmother and my grandfather from 1970 to my father. My grandfather passed in 77. My grandmother passed in 2011. So I really consider Georgia my home, although I was born in Chicago.
Okay, so we got a nice little flow. See, I got some vibe. Okay, so because of that, tell me what your childhood was like. What was a typical day for Shannon Sharpe in Georgia?
Well, I think the best thing that my mom did is that she realized that she had 2 boys and raised them on the south side of Chicago wasn't the best when she was going to be a single mom, although my dad was there, but she had to work. And so leaving 2 boys, a lot of times probably the thin and tend to themselves wasn't going to be the best situation. So I'm glad she made the decision. Sometimes the best decisions don't involve you. I'm glad my mom realized that probably the best thing for my brother, my sister and I, especially my brother and myself, was to be where there's going to be structure, there's going to be discipline, there's going to be a sense of work ethic that was going to be instilled. And so when we went down in 1970, my sister was already 10 years old. My brother was born in 65, so he was 5 and I was 2. That was the best decision probably that my mom made in her entire life, was to put us in that situation where we could thrive. Work was something that my grandfather instilled in us at a very young age, and my grandmother echoed that. So a typical day for me, I got my first job, I was probably 5 years old. I worked until I went to the NFL, I was 22, so I would work from 7 a.m. until about 5:36 p.m. in tobacco fields. We cropped tobacco. And then when I was about 8, I did those same, this was during the summer. And then we'd come in, we'd take a shower, play basketball, get sweaty again, and then we'd go catch chickens. We caught chickens, it had to be dark, so we'd catch chickens, say, from about 10 to about 2. And so we did that during the summers, and then when school came around, we still had those jobs. So I would still catch chicken from the time I was in 4th grade until the time I was a freshman in high school. So that was a typical day. I was working probably 14, 16 hours a day as a child.
So you have to break down, what's the chasing chickens? You gotta tell us something.
Well,
You can't just say that and we don't.
we worked for this company called the Claxton Poultry Plant. And what we would do, we would go into a chicken, I don't know if you guys have chicken houses, but we had chicken houses where you have chicken houses, and they hold about anywhere between 8 and 12, well, about 5,000 to 6,000. So we catch about 10 to 12,000 on a given night. And so when we go in at about 10 o'clock at night, we come in, we open the back door, and chickens huddle together.
And so it made it very easy for us to catch them. So we would just turn the flashlight on and we would just go in and catch them, 3 in one hand, 3 in the other hand. We would take them out. There was about 8 of us. We had about 4 or 5 catchers, 2 men that would take the chickens from us, and then we had 2 stackers. So they would put the chickens actually in the coop and stack the coops up so the 18-wheelers could come get the coops and take them out. So we was catching anywhere between, on a given night, somewhere between 12 and 16,000 birds a night. And so that was kind of my job from the time I was in 4th grade to the time I was a freshman in high school.
Y'all want to catch the chickens?
But Courtney, here's the thing. You only got paid $1 a thousand. So you catch 1,000, you caught 1,000 chickens, you got $1. You caught 12,000 chickens, you made $12 that night. But when you look at 12, I mean, that was from 77 until about 80, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81. Probably until about 82 we did that. But when you factor in what I was making, I started out making $5 a day into tobacco fields. So that's $17, but you was working about $14 to $16 a day. But that was great money back then. And for me, I've always been what I thought of myself as a provider, because I would take my money at the end of the week and I would give my grandmother $10. And it gave me a sense of accomplishment. It gave me a sense of pride that it wasn't much, but it would help with something. She could help maybe buy groceries, maybe buy hot dogs and some bugs. Because back then, things were cheap. You get 3 loaves of bread for $1. So that was kind of like how I grew up, feeling like a sense of accomplishment and that I was helping my family as a young, I was probably like 6 or 7 doing those things. So it gave me a sense of pride, it gave me a sense of accomplishment, and it gave me a purpose. And I believe to this day, that's still my purpose, is to work and provide.
So you mentioned your grandmother, Miss Porter. Tell me what it was like being raised by her. And tell me was there something that your fondest memory of Miss Porter? Because I know she means a lot to you.
She means the world to me. She's everything to me.
So can you share with us what it was like being raised by your grandmother, and then how that shows up in today with you being older?
I slept in the bed with my grandmother until I was 15 years of age. I was a sophomore before I slept in a bed by myself. And even because when I grew up, my grandparents didn't sleep in the same bed. My grandfather slept in the bed, my brother slept with him. I slept in the bed with my grandmother. When my grandfather passed, I still stayed in the bed with my grandmother. It wasn't until my brother went to college in 1983 that I ended up sleeping in the bed by myself. But I was in the same room with my grandmother. It's kind of hard to explain, and if I had 1,000 tongues, I don't think I can explain it well enough, and I don't think I can do it justice. But I just understood at a very young age the importance that she held in my life. I can tell you, my grandfather died, I was 8 years old. I can tell you everything, word for word, verbatim, everything he ever said in my presence. I can tell you, my grandmother lived until I was 43 years of age. She died in 2011. I can tell you every time my grandmother's ever been upset with me, what I did, what I said, and how I did it. Everything they said, I hung on every single word. And when I was in high school, a lot of kids would grow out after basketball or football game, but I would have my coach take me home because my grandmother was alone. My brother was in college, my sister was of dating age, and so I would go home. They're like, Sharpe, you're not going out? I was like, no, Granny's home by herself. And I've always felt that purpose. I was the one that, come on, Shannon, let's go fishing. I would go fishing with her. She always called me a baby. She really never called me my name. It was always baby or son. And the love, when people say, you hear people say all the time that you love a grandchild more than you do your own child. I believe it. Because my grandmother raised her 9, took my mom 3, and loved them way more. There's no question in my mind, my grandmother loved my mom's 3 kids more than she loved her own kids. But the love and the nurturing, and now she was stern with me, she was tough, but she understood that I was a very impressionable child, and she gave me more love probably than any of her grandkids. And I just remember, like my grandfather was like, but she was like, Barney, it's okay. But I love the contrast between my grandmother and my grandfather, because being on a farm, we grew up on a farm, we had animals, we had heavy machinery. And I just remember my grandfather yelled at me one time, and probably about 6 years old. And my grandmother said, Barney, don't yell at him. He's just a little fella. And he politely turns to her. He said, Mary, we live on a farm. We have dangerous animals. We have dangerous equipment. I can't tell him a second time because it's probably going to kill him. And I learned that at a very young age. That's how, and sometimes I'm too hard on people that work for me and my own kids because that always resonated with me. I tell you something one time, believe me that I'm telling you for your own good. I'm never going to tell you anything that's not for your good. I'm never going to tell you anything that's going to put you in harm's way. And one of my favorite quotes is that a wise man will learn from others' mistakes. A fool will learn from his own. Now, sometimes, and I told my kids this, you're going to have to bump your own head because daddy can't protect you from everything. But the love that my grandmother gave me, my brother, my sister, the love and the compassion, I mean, it was like a child. When I would come home from it being in the NFL or come home from college, it was like if you didn't know, you would think it was two kids in a room laughing and joking because she was just so excited to see me. And I was so excited to see her. And my whole life, I had one mission in life was to get my grandmother out of that environment. Because when you grow up in 1,000 square foot with sometimes 10 people, and you have cement floors, and you have a tin roof that leaks, and you don't have indoor plumbing, and you don't have running water, that was the only thing that drove me. It almost drove me to this of obsession. Because to have my grandmother have 66 years and never go to bed and have it rain and not get rained on, it broke my heart. And I said, me and my brother, we didn't talk about a whole lot, but we had a singular focus. Get Mary Porter out of this environment. That was my singular focus. I went to college. I had that focus. I walked on Savannah State campus with 2 brown paper bags with all my belongings. Every piece of a toothbrush, like 3 outfits, and 2 Piggly Wiggly brown paper bags. I said, I'm leaving Savannah State. And when I come back, Mary Porter's not going to be the same person.
So you mentioned your brother and your sister. We know your brother is Sterling Shannon.
Yes.
You also play football.
We did.
So we want to know, what was it like having the same goal as your brother? And did you ever have sibling rivalry?
Well, we were brothers. I mean, he was 3 years older than I was, but I couldn't understand why I couldn't beat him. I didn't look at like his size or his age. I just looked at him as being my brother, and I should be able to beat him. And my sister's like, well, Shannon, he's older than you, but that didn't matter to me. But what it did is that it helped me because it taught me competition and it taught me not to quit. It taught me never to give up. But I just remember seeing him doing the things that he was doing in high school. And I'm saying, well, he lives in the same house I do. And he does what I do. He eats what I eat. If he can do it, I can do it. He goes to college. I was like, well, he went to college. I can go to college. But unfortunately, my grades, I couldn't have got in prison with my grades. But they were bad. But everything that I saw him do, I wanted to do. And when he started dating, I would cry because he didn't want to take me with him. And so my grandmother sometimes would make him take me, but I wanted to be just like my brother. Everything that he did, the same position that he played in football and basketball, I played. The same number he wore. And I remember my sister telling me, she said, Shannon, be your own man, be your own person. But what she didn't know, the man that I wanted to be was in my living room. I never looked outside of my house for a role model. Every role model I had was in my own home. I saw my grandfather and the way he protected his family. I saw the way my brother and how he protected me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be that man. I wanted to be a man like my grandfather that protected his family, that stood on principle, that was the highest of integrity. And to know that, no matter what, I got this situation. And so I said it, I didn't have role models outside of my home. Every man that I wanted to be, I saw them on a daily basis. I got an opportunity to see my brother until he went away from college. And I think that probably impacted him more than it impacted me. Because for the very first time, he was not going to be there. See, if I did something, my grandfather didn't chastise me, he chastised him. He said, because you're the oldest, you know better, you need to teach him. You got to teach him what I can't because you're around him more. And I didn't understand that until I got older. That, okay, if I did it, why are you punishing him? But it was because he said, they call my brother Spanky. He said, Spanky, you know better. You know what is right. You know what's wrong. I need you to instill that in him. And as I started to get older, I started to understand. I started to have an appreciation for who my brother was. And I have a very unique relationship, Courtney, with my brother and sister. My brother is 3 years older than I am, but he's like a father to me. My sister's 8 years older than I am, and she's like a mother to me. Because all the things that a mother would do for a child, that's what my sister did for me. My sister was the one that helped me with my homework. My sister was the one that gave me a bath when I couldn't bathe myself. My sister was the one that looked over and signed my report card. My sister did everything that a mom would do. And so our relationship is not typical brother-sister. It's more like father. It's more like mother, son. My brother is more like my father. And so I hold the utmost respect, the utmost reverence towards them. And so I take a back seat. Even though who I am, I'm the bigger, more dominating figure, I take a back seat when it comes to them.
So what would you tell somebody here who doesn't have a role model in the household? What are characteristics they should look for if they're seeking mentorship or guidance from somebody that they don't have within their living room?
The questions I ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to become in life? And then find someone that can best put you on that path. Is it a teacher? Is it your principal? Is it your pastor? Is it an uncle? I'm not going to say that, because my mom comes from a big family, and my uncles, all of my uncles, with the exception of one, was around. But I was very, very fortunate. I was very blessed to have my brother and to have my grandfather for about 8 years, and then my brother took over that role. I think the biggest thing is that sometimes we are captivated by things what we see on television, where somebody has a flashy watch, they have diamonds, they can play football, and that's who your role model is. But it needs to be someone close, someone that you can have a conversation with. And so I was really never had role models. Yeah, did I want to play in the NFL? Sure. But my role model was my brother, because it was someone that I could talk to on a daily basis. It was someone that I could see. It was someone that I could mimic. See, if you want to have a role model, it needs to be someone that you can mimic, and someone that, you know what, I'm proud to have him as a mentor. I'm proud to serve as an apprentice under them. And I think that's the biggest thing. And for me, growing up in the church, like I was, my pastor, Reverend J.E. Clark, Reverend Moses Carter, Benjamin, I just looked at them and I saw the way they conducted themselves. Because when I grew up, Pastor, that you can attest to this, pastors had regular jobs. They were school teachers, or they were barbers. Pastors wasn't what they did all the time. So, they cut hair. I mean, Reverend Clark was he was the principal of the school that my mom went to. And they were barbers, and they did other things. And so I got an opportunity to see them on a daily basis and have conversations with them on a daily basis. And so that was the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing, is that sometimes we want mentors because what we see on television, and they might be terrible people. I want to be mentored by someone that's a good person. That's where my brother came in, because I got an opportunity to see him on a regular basis, and I could touch him, and I saw the type of person that he was, and that's who I want to be. I want to be the man like him. I want to be respectful. If you notice, everybody, and Pastor can attest to this, everybody that I met, I shake their hand, I'm Shannon Sharpe. I'm Shannon Sharpe. Even the young men that came down here, it's like, we know who you are, but I'm not arrogant enough to believe that everybody knows who I am. So I want to introduce myself.
Okay, so we're gonna fast forward a little bit. So you take this when you were, catching chicken, and then your close relationship with your grandmother, and how your brother and your sister served as parental figures for you. So now we're in high school.
I'm in high school.
You graduated from high school.
Yes, barely. Thank you.
And you mentioned
I graduated, thank you, Lordy. Not cum laude, magna cum laude thing.
So you mentioned you didn't have good grades.
I did not have good grades.
So what connected you to Savannah State, which is an HBCU, right?
Yes.
So
yes, HBCU. was one of the top recruits in the state of Georgia. I was an all-state football player. I was an All-American in track. I was an all-area basketball player. But I was a class clown.
Any class clowns in the building?
I was a class
Don't
clown.
raise your hand. Don't raise your hand.
I was a class clown. And I remember, I went to the University of Georgia, Clemson, University. All these big schools wanted me, but I was Prop 48, which means I didn't meet academically, have the grades to get into that school. And I remember Coach Davis, who was the head coach at Savannah State, he had just got the job at Savannah State. And he came down, and my high school football coach at the time says, Coach, you can't talk to him. He's big time. He's one of the top recruits in the state of Georgia. He's one of the top recruits in the country, and he'll never go to Savannah State. And I remember Coach saying, I just want to talk to him. I just want to, just talk to him. And I remembered, I was like, Coach, it's okay. It's okay. I'll talk to him. So I started talking to him. I was like, I had really never heard of Savannah State, even though I grew up 65 miles from Savannah. But I had never heard of it because all my mind was is what I saw on television. I saw Alabama and the USC's and the Michigan, so I wanted to go D1. And so I remember like, okay, I'm not going to be able to get into D1 because of my grades academically. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to the military. I'm going to go join the Air Force. I'm getting ready. I called a recruiter. And so now I'm going to go down. I'm getting ready the next day. And I'm going to go take the test to go to the Air Force. I tell my brother my plans. My brother leaves school, comes down. Remember I told you my brother's like a father figure to me. He says, you're going to go to Savannah State for 1 year. And if you don't like it, you can say, I went, but it wasn't for me. But you're going to Savannah State. Does Coach Davis still have that scholarship for you? I said, yes. I told Coach Davis. He said, no matter what, he would always have a scholarship for me. One of the 5 best decisions I've ever made in my life was to go to an HBCU, was to go to Savannah State. Once I got to Savannah State, I was in what they call developmental studies. And I don't know if people know what developmental studies is. I was in remedial classes because I didn't meet academically, so I had to start. So all the classes that I was taking wasn't going towards graduation. And there were a lot of my teammates that were in those very classes, but they were embarrassed because they didn't want other students to see them go. We went into trailers. They didn't want the young ladies to see them go in their trailers. Man, I would iron my clothes every night, just like my grandmother had instructed me for all my life. I got up, I was in it every night. She always told me, she said, son, be respectful. It's yes, ma'am, it's no, ma'am. Iron your clothes, do all that stuff. So I would iron my clothes the night before. Go eat breakfast. I'd wake up at like 7:15, take a shower, put my clothes on, go eat breakfast, and I would come to those developmental study classes. Now, mind you, I had remedial reading, remedial English, and remedial math. I was not embarrassed because I put myself in that situation. Dr. Joyce McLemore, she was up first, 8 a.m. After the first day, she always called me Mr. Sharpe. I saw her probably about a year ago. She still calls me Mr. Sharpe. She calls me up to her desk. She puts her arm around my waist. She said, Mr. Sharpe, you're too smart to be in here. She said, I don't want to see you in this class next quarter. Yes, ma'am. I got out. So that's reading. I got Joanne Green, Dr. Green. When she gave me my first paperback from writing, I was like, do I know blood everywhere? I couldn't see none of the marks that I had made on the paper. I was so embarrassed. She said, Mr. Sharpe, I expect more of you. I expect more of you. Yes, ma'am. Now, mind you, in order to get out of the English class, you have to pass what they call a Regents exam. They give you 2 or 3 topics. You choose one, and you have to write an essay on it. Now, the people at Savannah State, they don't grade it. They send it to all the other schools, the Fort Valleys, the Georgia Southerns, and have those English teachers grade the papers. I'm out. Math, I struggle with math. Once they got past timetables, me and math didn't get along too well. So it took me 2 chances to get up out of there. I got with a guy, Dr. Simpson. I think, yeah, Dr. Simpson. He said, Mr. Sharpe, he said, I know you came close last time, but I need you to focus a little more. You can do this. And I remember we going to take the finals. So, you know, you go through the class, you take the finals. And I remember he was passing out a penny for good luck. Everybody taking a penny for good luck. So he came to me, he had like 6 pennies left in his hands. I knocked them out of his hand. I said, I don't need luck. I said, I'm ready to take this test. I'm out. So from the time I got there, in the first 3 quarters, I'm out of all the developmental study classes. And now my sophomore season, I get to start taking classes for graduation. I take overloads. Now, in order for me, hold on, you want to overload? You were just in developmental studies. So I had to go to the dean to get them to sign off on me taking overloads. So I'm taking 21 because back then on the quarter system, you went to class every single day. So I'm having 4 classes every day. And playing football. Playing football well too. But you know what? The thing was, Courtney, that once I got out of those classes, not only did I feel like a sense of accomplishment because I did accomplish something, I was like, I'm really smart. So now I'm doing my work. I'm helping my teammates work. And you know I'm not gonna lie to you because I'm in the church. I started doing my girlfriend's homework. She passed because of me. It didn't go too well once I left the Courtney, so you know I had to go to the NFL, but it was an unbelievable feeling to go to Savannah State because I knew sincerely that those professors and those doctors cared about me. And I never forget Dr. Haynes Walton, Dr. Norman Elwood, probably 2 of my favorite teachers of all time. They told me, they said, Shannon, you're going to be our best representative of Savannah State. They say, I always want you to be on your best behavior. Now, this football thing, you're really good at it. But if it doesn't work out, I need you to carry yourself in a manner. I need you to be able to represent Savannah State in a manner that's going to make all of us proud. Every time I go into a room, I'm Savannah State's representation. And I want people to know that HBCUs, if you look at morning television, 3 of the biggest voices, myself, Savannah State, Stephen A. Smith, Winston-Salem State, Michael Strahan, Texas Southern, 3. So anytime I go anywhere and I speak and I talk, the way I conduct myself, I'm representing Marion Barney Porter. I'm representing my family. I'm representing my hometown, Glenville. I'm representing Savannah State and all the teachers, even the ones that didn't teach me. I represent them. And I don't take that for granted because I understand that people are watching everything that I say. I'm not perfect. I'm not here to tell, and kids, it's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. That's a part of life. That's a part of transitioning from being a kid or teenager to adulthood. You're not going to be perfect, but just understand that a mistake is not the end of the world. I don't look at failure. I say it's just delayed successes. They say, well, how many failures have you had? I say, I haven't had any. I've just had delayed successes. That's how I look at life. All it did was delay me from getting to the opportunity that I knew that was on the other side of that mishap. So that's the way you have to look at it, kids. You can't look at it and say, oh, it's the end of the world. I didn't get into this college, or I didn't get this grade, or I didn't get this job. It's just delaying you. It's preparing you. Maybe the man above didn't see that you were ready for that kind of responsibility yet. And that's how I look at it. And sometimes it's hard to see it. Sometimes the hardest thing for us to see is that why did this happen to me? Why didn't I get this opportunity? But every step in my life, I'm released by the Ravens. I go back to Denver. I got released by CBS. I get released by Fox. But all it is just open the door for a bigger and better opportunity to come. And that's how I look at my life. I don't look at my life as a failure. I just look at my life as a delayed success, because success is coming.
So give us 10 more minutes with one last question. So now this y'all kind of going through the timeline. You now retired from the NFL.
Yes.
We know you've been busy. So how has life changed since retiring from the NFL, tapping into, podcasting and hosting? How has that shift been? I mean, of course, probably a little bit calmer.
No.
Or no?
Courtney, if you take Shannon Sharpe at his absolute apex in the NFL, and I was a pretty good player. I was a good player, very good player. You would have to multiply it by 5 or 6, the popularity and the celebrity and the fandom in which I am now. And it's hard because I'm like, okay, I've kind of been in the media, out of the spotlight since 1990. I was a top player in college. I was a top area high school. So people have kind of known about Shannon Sharpe since he was about 17 years of age, but it's nothing like this. It's nothing like this. And it's taken me some time for a person that's been in the spotlight to get used with this kind of spotlight, because you get people that you thought were cool with you taking shots at you. And then it made me realize you've always felt like that. You just mask it behind something else. And a lot of people will disguise their true feelings in the form of a joke. Oh, I'm just joking. But no, that's your true intentions. And so what I've learned, I thought it was me. I said, man, these people just don't, they don't like me. But they're not mad at me. They're mad it's me. That's what that is. I'll give you an example. My podcast, Club Station. I've done 110 episodes. Cat Williams was probably 106. Monique was, Cat was probably 105. Monique was probably 106, 107. So what people want to do is say, well, he's messy. So you're going to judge me on 2, but what about the other 110? What about Country Wayne? What about Michael Blackson? What about Sid? What about Steve Harvey? What about Ricky Smiley? It was the Cat Williams that did all those views. And they said, well, Shannon, why did you say? I said, it wasn't my place. I said, what am I supposed to say when I don't have all the facts? When I come and ask, yes, I do a deep dive. I try to go back as far as I can. And most people, when you hear them say this, like, oh, you've done your homework. You're absolutely right, we've done our homework. But I don't know. I'm hearing, so a lot of times I'm hearing for the very first time what these people are saying. So you want me to chime in and defend someone, but I don't have all the facts. I'm gonna let the viewing audience, I'm gonna let the listening audience decide. You can say, well, I don't believe anything this person said, or I can believe everything, or it's a retort. I don't know, but it's taken me some time to get used to the spotlight that I'm under now, because I didn't see it happening this quick, because I lose my job in June. Complex boasts me the #1 sports personality in like October, November. First Take is doing great numbers. Club Shay is doing unbelievable numbers. I started this new podcast called Nightcap with Ocho Cinco and Gilbert Arenas. And it's doing numbers, so I didn't expect it. And so if I didn't expect this level of celebrity, I definitely didn't expect this level of vitriol. And so I'm learning how to deal with it. And I think my sister has helped me. She said, Shannon, you can't fight the devil every day because you'll fight a never-ending war. She said, Shannon, pick and choose your battles. Every battle ain't meant for you to be fought. She said, turn it over to the man upstairs and he'll fight it for you. And so, but it doesn't make it easy for me, especially if you and I are cool. And then all of a sudden you go to another level and I start saying that, hey, Courtney, I'm just joking. You're like, bro, but if you had a problem with something that I said or something that I did, you could have come and talked to Courtney. You didn't have to say that publicly, but that's what I'm starting to see. But for the most part, the love and the respect and the appreciation that people give me when I'm out in the street, it far exceeds the dislike, the jealousy, the envy, all the other things that come with it. So I'm learning that I can't fight every battle. I can't have a retort for every time someone says something, even though I think it's wrong. But hey. But I'm realizing, Courtney, is that a lot of times people are creating content on things that I said. And so that's why they want to keep it going, because right now I'm in the digital space. And so that's how they create content. So I'm done fighting the battles. I'm gonna let my work speak for itself. If you like it, you watch Club Shay Shay, you listen to Nightcap. If you don't, just scroll on past.
So last question for this afternoon. If there was one thing that you could leave with the youth today in the sanctuary, what is that one thing?
Believe in yourself. I've never doubted myself and what I could and couldn't do, because I've seen someone else do it. So whatever you want to do in life, I promise you someone else has done it. You want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to travel to the moon, you want to go to space, you want to make 100 million, 200 million a year. Somebody has already done it. And I've always believed this: if somebody can do it, somebody else can do it. And that somebody can be me. You've got to believe in yourself, no matter how hard it may seem, no matter how dark the road may be, but believe in yourself and believe that you're not walking alone. Believe that you're not standing alone. Believe that the man above it will guide you. He said it, he said, if you fall before me, I'll stand for you. And if I stand for you, no one can stand against you.
Well, I want to thank you for this conversation. Give Shannon Sharpe a round of applause. You can do better than that. Sit on your feet.
Believe everybody that hurt young men, young women that's in attendance, believe in your own ability. Don't let someone tell you what you can't do. Just tell them, I haven't done it yet, but I am going to do, I'm going to be everything that I said I'm going to be and become. I'm going to be that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause. Shannon, Shay Shay, I want you to take a picture. Take a picture with him for me, brother. Listen, brother Lee. Could you see it, please? We're getting ready to get you out of here. Okay, we're ready to hit roll call.
Have a seat, please. Have a seat. I'm going to call you back to school. We're going to get you out here as quickly as possible.